I would like to request everyone to please maintain decorum in the auditorium. Thank you. Hello, good morning everyone. Can I please have your attention? Thank you. On the occasion of International Women's Day, celebrated on the 8th of March, and on behalf of the Women Development Cell of Somaiya Vidyavihar University, good morning to the esteemed guests, and a warm welcome to every one of you present here. I am Yogadya, and alongside me is Divya, and we are delighted to have you all here today. Before we commence our event, let us imbue this gathering with positivity and light by coming together to light the lamp. As we do so, let us also unite in spirit by singing the Somaiya prayer, invoking blessings and harmony for the journey ahead.
We are deeply honored to have our reputed dignitaries with us today. We kindly request them to join us on the dais for the lighting of the lamp that symbolizes spreading of positivity and happiness. I would also request Chairman WDC Priti Rawat Ma'am to accompany our dignitaries to the stage. To our audience, we would kindly request them to stand up for Somaiya prayer.
May we request everyone to maintain silence, please? Thank you. We would request the audience to please be silent. We are beginning with the prayer.
तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृधत् तस्य स्विद्धनम् मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वीणामविद्यवतु ॐ चोदयित्री सूनृतानां चेतन्ती सुमतीनां यज्ञं ददे सरस्वती ॐ असतो मा सत्समय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनस्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै सर्वेऽत्र सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति
Before we like to begin with the main event, I would like to call upon the Secretary, WDC, Women Development Cell, Dr. Nandana Prabhu, to address the audience.
Good morning all. We all know that our university, Somaiya Vidyavihar University, was established in 2019 with 10 constituent colleges. That is the KJ Somaiya College of Engineering, KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies. Then we have KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. We have Design School, School of Sports Academy. We have CIRAC. We have the Somaiya College, that is SK Somaiya College. Some of these colleges were established after the formulation of the universities. Others have worked independently with their WDC cells. Now we have the formulation of our WDC cell at the university level. The main objectives are to create and develop a congenial environment for women employees, including teaching, supporting staff, and the students. To undertake the awareness programs on gender sensitization, women's rights, and women empowerment in university campuses and colleges. To build a gender-sensitive and inclusive campus, to prevent sexual harassment at workplace, to conduct gender audit regularly. Since the formulation of this university-level WDC, various activities have been conducted in this regard. This year, we have conducted an activity on My Health, My Fitness, and we had doctors from KEM who have conducted this session. We also had a session on Uniform Civil Code by Mrs. Swati Chauhan, the former judge of Family Court, Mumbai. An MOU has been signed with Bharatiya Stree Shakti NGO for helping us in organizing various activities. In this year, we have done this MOU. On the occasion of the International Women's Day, the university has organized, that is the University WDC cell has organized 6 activities. One of them was on March 1, that is on cyber security by Mr. Deepak Bagal, which was organized by the SKSE College. On March 5th, we had the essay and the poster competition by the university level WDC. Today we have the panel discussion. On March 11th, we have the case study competition by the KJSIM College. On March 15th, we have the gender sensitization and intercollegiate competition. It's a seminar based. So these are the activities under the university level WDC. So today we will start with the session of panel discussion. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for allowing us to understand and gain insights on Women Development Cell and its spirit. Ladies and gentlemen and fellow students, we are convening today for a panel discussion on Samarpita, the role of women in Amritkaal, where we delve into the pivotal contributions of women in the transformative era of today. As we gather here today to reflect on the role of women in Amritkaal, spanning 25 years leading up to the nation's centenary of independence in 2047, it is essential to recognize the invaluable contributions made by women in shaping the fabric of our society and driving progress in various spheres of life.
In journey towards independence and beyond, women have always been in the forefront of change, challenging stereotypes and bringing on the positivity. In Amritkaal, they have played multiple roles, serving as an agent of transformation and pillar of strength, not just to their family, but also to the community.
Now, it gives us immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed panelists for the day, who bring a wealth of knowledge and experience in their respective fields. So first up, we have Ms. Roop Rashi. It is with great admiration that we welcome Ms. Roop Rashi, the Textile Commissioner of the Ministry of Textiles of the Government of India, to our panel discussion. Her incredible career is characterized by a vibrant approach to sustainable textiles and a true commitment to driving positive change within the industry. Her leadership has been instrumental in spearheading initiatives like Vastra Vikas, which seeks to revive and automate the apparel section while supporting principles of sustainability and innovation. With a wealth of experience spanning diverse domains, including finance, development administration, and commodity sectors, Ms. Rashi brings a unique perspective and unparalleled expertise to her role as a textile commissioner. Under her guidance, the Indian textile value chain has witnessed significant advancements, from streamlining flagship schemes to fostering collaborations across various industry segments. Her efforts have focused on addressing gaps, enhancing credit facilitation, and integrating research outputs to ensure the long-term sustainability and competitiveness of the sector. Through her visionary leadership, Ms. Rashi has not only empowered stakeholders within the textile industry, but has also played a pivotal role in enabling livelihoods and fostering economic growth across the nation. So let us all warmly welcome Roop, ma'am. And I would request Preeti ma'am to kindly felicitate Ms. Roop Rashi.
Now, I'm happy to introduce Ms. Rupa Balwani ma'am. Ms. Rupa ma'am is a distinguished leader in Ruma ma'am is a leader in corporate communication and social responsibility. She is one of our esteemed panelists today. With over 3 decades of experience, Ms. Balwani's remarkable journey is marked by a passionate commitment to driving positive change and fostering inclusivity. As the Chief Executive Officer and Brand Custodian of Indian Deaf Cricket Association, IDCA, she has embarked on a transformative mission to empower deaf youth and establish IDCA as the apex government body for deaf cricket in India. Her visionary leadership has led to significant milestones such as organizing Deaf ICC World Cup T20 in 2018, which gained international recognition. With her guidance, IDCA has established an advisory committee with 20 active deaf associates nationwide, while her strategic acumen has forged partnership, raised funds, and increased awareness for deaf cricket. Recently honored with prestigious Mahatma Award for promoting inclusivity with sports, Ms. Balwani's dedication to empowerment and social impact resonate deeply with the spirit of Women's Day, inspiring us all to strive for a more inclusive and equal world. We are truly happy to have you, ma'am, here. I would request Preeti, ma'am, to felicitate.
With immense pleasure and honor, I present a great example of empowerment, an advocate of gender equality, and a true inspiration to all of us, Urmila Balwant Apte. Urmila ma'am represents the spirit of strength, dedication, and tireless commitment to the cause of women's rights. Armed with a master's degree in mathematics from the prestigious University of Mumbai, she embarked on a journey to shape countless women's lives across India. In 1988, fueled by her passion for gender equality and empowerment, Urmila ma'am founded the Bharatiya Stree Shakti (BSS) organization, a visionary initiative dedicated to disassembling barriers and amplifying women's voices in the society. Her tireless efforts did not go unnoticed. In 2018, on the auspicious occasion of International Women's Day, Urmila ma'am was bestowed with the prestigious Nari Shakti Puraskar by none other than Ramnath Kovind himself, the President. This esteemed recognition is a testament to her dedication and outstanding contributions to the women's empowerment in India. Throughout her outstanding career, Urmila ma'am has served as the President of Bharatiya Stree Shakti and the All India Organizing Secretary. These spearheading initiatives have left an indelible mark on the landscape of women's empowerment. Her leadership has paved the way for establishing 33 branches of BSS across 10 states in India, touching the lives of countless individuals. We welcome you, ma'am, today. I would like Preeti ma'am to felicitate her.
That's the way you are making us like a uniform, labeling with Somaiya.
Next is yours.
With great pleasure and honor, I introduce Dr. Sangeeta Anurkumar Srivastava, our Honorable Executive Director at Godavari Biorefineries. With a reputed academic background and over 26 years of experience in research and development, Dr. Srivastava brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to our organization. Dr. Srivastava holds a bachelor's degree in science and a master's degree in chemistry. She did not just stop over there. She also has a doctor of philosophy in science from the reputed University of Mumbai. Before her current role, Dr. Srivastava was the General Manager, Corporate and Research and Development at Somaiya Agrochemical Limited, where she played a very important role in shaping company's research and development activities. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Sangeeta Srivastav, whose experience and dedication inspires all of us to reach new height of achievement. I would request Preeti ma'am to felicitate her.
I am pleased to introduce Ms. Shivani Gupta, a seasoned professional with over 25 years of experience in consulting, technology, and the development sector. Having spent decades with global consulting giants such as Capgemini India, Shivani ma'am brings expertise in conceptualizing and implementing business solutions and leading human resources integration programs. Transitioning to the development sector, she embarked on an immersive journey that deepened her understanding of developmental challenges and systemic issues, mainly focusing on adolescent-centric issues during her tenure at Dasra. Shivani ma'am's leadership and strategic acumen have been instrumental in driving impactful initiatives, including the Women's Land Rights Program in India, showcasing her commitment to creating positive change and fostering inclusivity. Her track record of successfully navigating complex transformations and her dedication to social causes underscore her invaluable contributions to consulting, technology, and growth. Let us all welcome Ms. Shivani Gupta, a catalyst for change and a champion for inclusivity. I would like Preeti ma'am to felicitate Ms. Shivani Gupta. हमने मेंशन किया है ना कि प्रीति मैम मॉडरेटर है. Last but not the least, we have Professor Preeti Rawat, who is the moderator. वो बाद में बोल देना.
Last but not the least, today we have Professor Preeti Rawat as our moderator. Okay. She is the director, SVU Faculty and Staff Development Center. She is also the editor-in-chief of Business Perspective and Research, a journal published by KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. She has won the Dr. S.K. Somaiya Award for Excellence in Teaching. Not just that, she has also won Best Professor in HRM by Lokmat National Education Leadership Award in February 2014. We would like you to take the discussion further, ma'am.
Am I audible? So, first of all, let me once again thank all the panelists for taking out time and being here. And it's a very, very illustrious gathering that we have. So, to start the panel discussion, what I plan is that first let us hear from each of the panelists what has been their perception of their journey to what they are today. So, starting with Apte Madam, I would like to request you to address the audience in terms of your personal journey in women empowerment and what you feel there should be some takeaways.
मैं ऑडियंस से परमिशन लेना चाहती हूँ कि मैं हिंदी में बात करूँगी. इज इट ओके विथ यू? थैंक यू सो मच. आई कैन स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, मगर मैं भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति का रिप्रेजेंटेशन यहाँ पर कर रही हूँ, तो इसलिए भारतीय भाषा में बोलना पसंद करूँगी. थैंक यू सो मच. मेरा किसी भी समाज के बारे में जो परसेप्शन है एम्पावरमेंट का, एम्पावरमेंट बाहर से नहीं आती, अंदर से आती है. महिलाओं के बारे में भी हम सोचते हैं कि उनकी जो इनर स्ट्रेंथ्स है, वो इनर स्ट्रेंथ हम कैसे बलवान कर सकते हैं, वो जागरूक कैसे कर सकती हैं. और वो करने के लिए 5 तरह के स्टेप्स हम ले सकते हैं. एक है शिक्षा का, दूसरा है उनके स्वास्थ्य के बारे में, तीसरा है उनका इकोनॉमिक इंडिपेंडेंस, स्वतंत्रता, आर्थिक स्वतंत्रता, चौथा है समानता है, और पांचवा है उनका अपने में आत्मविश्वास। और ये 5 साथ में अगर होते हैं तो इंडिविजुअल प्रोग्रेस करने के लिए, डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए, उत्थान करने के लिए वो बहुत मददगार होते हैं। ये मैं नहीं कहती, जो अपने पुरखे थे महात्मा ज्योतिबा फुले और अगरकर, उनके लिखित ये संवाद है, उनके निबंध है, उनके इस्सेस है, जिसमें उन्होंने तब 200 साल पहले ये उन्होंने उद्धृत किया है। और तब से हमारे यहाँ शिक्षा के, महिलाओं के शिक्षा के बारे में प्रारंभ हुआ। उनके पदकमलों को याद करते हुए हमारा ये जो भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति का काम चला है वो उसके बलबूते पर हमारा चला है। और जैसे कि अभी उन्होंने बताया तो उस प्रकार से 10 राज्यों में हम पहुंच चुके हैं। ये हमारी पंचसूत्री है, और पंचसूत्री के साथ हर व्यक्ति देश का एक नागरिक भी है, और देश के विकास में, देश के डेवलपमेंट में उनका सहभाग होना ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। एक का विकास होने से अपना अपना खुद का आर्थिक एम्पावरमेंट करेंगे तो क्या उससे भारत का एम्पावरमेंट होता है? वैसे नहीं है। अगर हमारी उसमें निष्ठा है और उसमें हमारे समर्पण भाव है, आज के कार्यक्रम का नाम ही समर्पिता है, तो महिलाओं की समर्पिता इसमें कैसे रहेगी? हम कहते हैं कि महिलाएं 50% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन है, तो 50% उनका उसमें सहभाग भी होना चाहिए। इनका कंट्रीब्यूशन, उनका योगदान देश के एम्पावरमेंट के, देश के प्रगति में हो। इसलिए हमारा एक और मुद्दा है कि जैसे कि जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन इज अ मस्ट, जेंडर इक्वालिटी इज अ मस्ट, महिलाओं में इक्वालिटी होना ये इट इज अ मस्ट, मगर उसी प्रकार से सामाजिक सहभाग में महिला होनी ही चाहिए। इट इज इनएविटेबल, वो महिला के बिना ये पूरा हो नहीं सकता, ये हमारी भावना है। और इस भावना के साथ भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति का काम अब 35 ईयर से देश में चला है।
Thank you, Apta Madam. Very well said in terms of the 5 principles which lead to women empowerment. So I would now request Dr. Sangeeta to share her thoughts on her journey in empowerment and as a professional career woman.
So, good morning yet, 1 minute left for good afternoon. So I will divide my journey in 2 parts. When I started studying and when I started my career. So when I started studying in a small town in Madhya Pradesh, I studied in a very rural India. So the challenges were when I wanted to choose my subject, where I wanted to study mathematics, but the girls' school did not have maths. So I had to choose not to study maths. So my challenges started from there. I think in today's world, you might not be able to relate to what happened during those days. Yeah. So okay, 5 months down the line, and then the boys' school principal said, no, you can come and study in boys' school and you can study maths. But by then I decided, no, I don't want to give up. I started my journey with biology, chemistry, and physics, so I'll continue. So that was one part. And then I finished my study. I did my MSc, I did my PhD also. And then when I wanted to start my career. I came into Mumbai, and people said, no, for the quality control, you are more qualified. We don't want to keep MSc, MPhil in the road. Okay. Then I again started searching. People said, go to the teaching. That's an easier job. That's what perception was at that time, right? I said, but I don't want to teach. It's my choice, okay? Teaching is good, but it's not my choice. Anybody chooses, it's their choice. Why should I be forced to choose teaching, right? So then I started applying to all the institutes and the industry, and I actually wrote in my the application that being woman will not be a disqualification. And I was interviewed by Mr. Somaiya in 94. I joined, March 94, I joined Somaiya Godavari Biorefineries. At the time, it was Godavari Sugar Mills. And since then, I'm here. So I started as a trainee organic chemist. Then I headed R&D department, and I headed as general manager, and now I'm executive director. So this is the journey which I wanted to share, because you have to have the conviction and the self-confidence, and then you can get what you want. So don't give up. Don't think I can't do it. Please continue what your conviction is, and you will be there. That's it.
Extremely, extremely inspiring. Being a woman is not a disqualification. I think that speaks for Sangeeta Madam's conviction in herself, her self-belief, her confidence. I think that is what has brought her today where she is today. So thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. Moving to Roma Madam, I would now request Roma Balwani Madam to talk about her journey of experiencing empowerment in both her personal and professional life.
Thank you. I'm really delighted to be here. Yeah. Really fortunate to be in this room full of Nari Shakti. There are such dignitaries on the dais, really humble to be here. I think my journey also began in a very humble way, that our parents and grandparents shifted out of Pakistan and they came to India, and they had to lose everything what they possessed and came into a joint family. But that joint family that I was raised in Mumbai, was the most enriching experience that I had. It was a 2-bedroom hall with 40 people staying in that house, but with the love and affection of a joint family, which possibly today you all may not be experiencing. But that is where your value system, your core values start. And that's how you learn. So my journey has been of learning, unlearning, and relearning. I probably was a rebel at that time. My mother was a teacher, and she had to leave everything to look after the families which were all displaced and back in Mumbai from Sindh. And that's where I realized that I need to support my family as well. And my career started in that manner, that I said, I'll do my studies. I can't leave my studies. But my father had one caveat to that. He said, you have to continue your studies. You want to work, but you'll have to do both. So I used to have a 16, 18-hour day. I was young. I was 16. I think I was a little foolhardy. But I used to go to morning college at Jai Hind, and I used to then go, and I took one of the bottom of the rung jobs with Larsen and Toubro. I was very fortunate that they did not need graduates at that time, so I started my studies with them. I completed my economic honors in political science with Jai Hind College. I didn't stop there. I wanted to move from the kind of low-rung job that I was doing. I was doing an admin job. And then I progressed and I said, the world has to open for me. I need to see the world and to see how education, being a teacher's daughter, can really help me in my career. I continued with my post-graduation. Actually, I did my marketing in Sasmira, the textiles marketing course, which really taught me a lot about India, the textiles in India. I'm so happy to have you here, ma'am. And you know, it's taken me back in time. I used to go for evening college. I was a star student. We were 2 women who actually were the first and second in the class. And that's what we learned. We learned textiles, and we learned marketing of textiles. And that really held me in good stead. I got a job back in L&T as a supervisor. The journey continued. I was the EA to the general manager. I learned the ropes of being in general management. From there, I progressed on, and my daughter was born. I left my career. My corporate career came to an end at that point in time, or maybe it stalled for some time, because I felt I need to give time to my daughter. And then I realized that my creative juices were there, and I became a creative consultant to many organizations. I'll share just one story over there. Being a creative consultant to an international advertising agency, because that's what I was doing, I had this little baby, 8-month-old baby with me, and I get a call from one of those agencies, and they tell me that you have to come for a meeting. Our international, heads are coming, and you have to come and present the campaign. I said, you're telling me at 5 in the evening, and tomorrow morning you're asking me to be there at 10. I'm not organized with my child. She's an 8-month-old baby. I don't have people to look after her. So I said, well, let me try. So I told my husband, I'll take my daughter in a bassinet. I drove myself at that time. Roads were better. It was at Marine Lines, the office, one of the largest advertising agencies of today. Why am I telling you this has a meaning? I went there and the lady who saw me, you brought your daughter along? How can you come for a meeting with a child and an 8-month-old child with you? I said, I had no choice. I couldn't leave her back. You wanted me for a meeting, then you bear with me. That time that international company's head came out and she looked quite sternly at that other lady and then invited me to the room. Luckily for me, Preeti just slept through the meeting. I took the bassinet, went into the room, had the meeting. And you know what that lady said? She told the other lady, she's a mother and she's also a professional. You should have been more kind and you should have allowed her and asked her what would she like to make her daughter comfortable rather than reprimanding her that why did she bring her daughter. You know, this small act of kindness which that lady did to me, I never forgot that. Years have passed, I was in the position of power at the Mahindra Group, and I was told that you have to hire the advertising agencies, you have to look after the brand and so much more. I went back to that agency. The people had changed, it's 20 years past. I never forgot that small act of kindness. I said, I will hire them, I will go through the process. If on merit they succeed, they'll be my first choice. And till today, they are the same agency working with the Mahindra Group. I moved on to the Vedanta Group as president. I continued to do that same activity. And I also again hired them because of that one small act of kindness. Today, my daughter's 43 years old. And this was when she was 8 months old. So you can imagine my career progression. And I have learned, unlearned, and relearned. All my career choices have been by destiny. Possibly not by choice, but with mentors throughout my journey. Please have mentors who can really take you. Today I'm sitting here because of a mentor mentoring a student of your college. I'll take his name. His name is Jaideep Keval Ramani. Today he's the CEO of Team Lee's EdTech. He actually in one of his speeches said that I owe this to this mentor who taught me. And today I owe it to the mentee who has brought me here. So the role has reversed, but that's the kind of caliber of students that I see over here that will excel in what they do. And I'm so proud to be here, to be sharing my little story. And of course, careers keep growing. Careers have taken me to 2 sets of retirement. I don't think retirement happens with me. And then I said I should give back to society. I said enough of the corporate career, but the rich experience of the corporate career. What should I do? A hearing impaired young cricketer came to me and said, ma'am, I need your help. And he would always be on WhatsApp with me, 365 days, sending me a good morning. I said, this is fated. Again, as I said, it's destiny. And I joined them as a pro bono CEO. 2 years back, they were a small NGO. Today, they've grown by leaps and bounds. Today, there's a structure. I'm actually leaving tonight to Sharjah to be with my team who's participating in the T20 World Cup organized by DEF ICC. They have really grown, and it's just my dedication, and I see so many hearing impaired talent, not only for cricket or sportsmen, but across, and we should be there to help them, and that's my little contribution. Thank you very much.
Really brilliant learning, unlearning, relearning, and the grit behind that to continuously learn. And that is what I would say Roma Madam is showing the path to lot many people in terms of how family and career can be managed together, and still you can be at the pedestal of glory. Thank you very much. Moving on to Shivani Gupta Madam, I would want you to share your experience in terms of your perception of empowerment and how you have reached where you are.
Yeah, thank you. It's really heartening to see so many young men in this room. So kudos to all the young men in the audience. I actually am an alumni of KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. I think probably the only alumni on this panel. And I passed out a long time ago. So if I tell the year, then you'll know my age. So we shall skip that. So I start, that is also true. Basically my journey has been quite interesting, and I'm more than happy to share it. But I also want to kind of caveat it a little bit that it has been a journey of a bit of a privilege. So I basically come from a Marwari family, and I don't know how many of you know, but they are traditionally very conservative families. They don't let, a lot of kids are not educated, especially women. And I was super lucky to have parents who believed in education. And they believed that education is the way out of whatever we were in, right? So, and we came from very humble middle-class family. My father was a government servant in UP. We had good education, but we didn't have like loads and loads of money, right? Ki chutti pe chale gaye kahin type of thing. I always wanted to be a chartered accountant when I was a kid. And the reason was that the person whom I wanted to be like was a chartered accountant. He had lots of money, and he used to travel internationally. Right? So he was my role model. He was my my dad's best friend. And I said, I want to be like Sharma uncle, you know, everybody, Gupta uncle, Sharma uncle types. And that's what I was kind of gunning for. And then we were in UP. My father was in a UP government service. So I did my graduation from Lucknow University. And that was the time when, I don't know if Lucknow University has changed. I hope nobody from there is there. We didn't have classes. So we used to go to college like 30 days in a year. So we were looking for 11 months in a year. And my parents realized ki might as well put her to some job. So I was enrolled into ICWA, which is an equal cost accounting thing. And so I completed my cost accounting along with my graduation. And then I said, no, I don't want to do CA, so let me try for MBA. And I kind of got into this. So my choices of education and career have also been evolving. So I dreamt of something else and I ended up kind of somewhere else, right? So I did my MBA in finance, and it was a very, very competitive time at that time. You know, finance jobs were what everybody wanted to be, and Citibank and Bank of America and JM Financials, and people were getting ridiculous packages, and I was not a great student. I was like an average student, actually. So, mil gaya kahin job. I did it for around 8 to 10 months and realized, humse na ho payega types. Not my cup of tea. It's too competitive and stuff like that. And that's when I joined the consulting world, where I really, really enjoyed and thrived. I started off by saying I come from a place of privilege, because while it might sound that I come from a Marwari family, not too much money, it is a lot of privilege. And that really came into foray when I joined the development sector, right? Hum jo cheezein ekdam for granted lete hain, for a lot of people that is epitome of empowerment. And therefore you have to look at it from a perspective of the last person in the line. Who is the last person in the line whom we are looking at? So anyways, continuing the story, I did consulting, I joined IT firms. I was super lucky to actually get a lot of international projects. So that was one tick on my dreams of being, chartered accountant, is like, okay, I can now travel. So I worked with IT companies for the longest time. I was super lucky to go to Europe and US for projects and long stints, etc. And as I reached mid-40s or early 40s, I realized time to kind of sit back and figure out what you want to do in life. Is it the same, more of the same, more money, more power, or something else? And that's when I decided to give a shot to the development sector, because it was always, जैसे कीड़ा होता है ना कि कुछ करना है पर कभी time नहीं मिलता उसके लिए. So I basically said कि if you want to do it, otherwise stop thinking about it. And that's when I decided to take a break and give the development sector like a shot, because I wasn't sure कि मुझे समझ में आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, उन लोगों को मैं समझ में आऊँगी कि नहीं आऊँगी, how the fitment is going to happen. And yeah, that was around 7 years ago, 8 years ago almost, and I'm still here. I now run, I'm the CEO of a foundation. It's a Swiss philanthropy. And the name of the foundation is Womanity. And as the name suggests, we work with for gender equality. But we also work with men because we think they are an important part of the equation. And making a gender equal world is not a women's problem. It is also a men's problem. So that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani madam. You started with privilege, something that often we don't talk about. But yes, you've used privilege not only to your advantage, but also to use it for society in general. And saying that gender equality is also a man's problem, I think you've just hit the nail. So thank you for that. Moving on to Rooparashi madam, I would want you to share your experience and the checkered trajectory that you have to be where you are today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, first of all, I would like to thank Madam Lodha to have reached out to me for this interaction. And secondly, I'll apologize to all of you for being late. So ma'am, particularly all the panelists here, circumstances beyond my control. Ma'am, yes, you want me to talk about my career, but I would like to share something which I had written, and I thought that I would like to talk about it. No, because see, normally what happens that bureaucrats are considered very dry, hard taskmasters, but then this is a subject which is very close to me, or rather we have been in the journey together. So one of the perspectives I had, it came up when I see everybody getting into this pink mode whenever we are reaching International Women's Day. So in response to that, मैंने कुछ लिखा था, आप लोग को सुनाना चाहूँगी. सतरंगी, खुश हूँ कोमल गुलाब जैसी, हूँ कोमल गुलाब जैसी, पर कोमलता कमजोरी नहीं. संवेदना मिली तो अच्छा, ना मिले तो मुझे जरूरी नहीं. संवेदना मिली तो अच्छा, ना मिले भी तो मुझे जरूरी नहीं. क्यों चाहूं किसी से कभी भी कुछ भी, क्यों चाहूं किसी से कभी भी कुछ भी, क्या मैं खुद में पूरी नहीं. क्यों रहूं सिमटी सी एक रंग में, क्यों रहूं सिमटी सी एक रंग में, क्यों बनूं सतरंगी सबरंगी सबूरी नहीं. To the magical myriad colors which make a woman what she is, why confined to pink? Why I want to start my journey or my thoughts on the subject with this, because what I feel privileged among such an people with such an amazing journey. And I think what comes to me, and which came to me even many years when I joined my services, was that what we need to do as women wherever we are, for women and for the society in general. I just believe that we all must celebrate the day, the week with a promise. And that is a promise all of us have to make, whether be the ladies here, gents, young boys, seniors, whoever, that we should help generate choices for women, personal as well as professional. So there, try to understand the difference, what I'm trying to make. The four friends here have told you the kind of journey they had, and they had their own challenges with their choices. And help them exercise those choices and support the choices made. We needn't be judgmental. We should just be there for each other and hold each other's hand. And when it is, I would say rather one another hand, to be correct in English language, I just feel all of us also need another concept which was cited by my fellow panelists, is a concept of male ally. Instead of we and they, it should be we as a whole as part of this society. I had an interaction on 29th of this month with a member of House of Lords, Baroness Sandeep Verma, and they deliberated on this whole concept of male ally. And I could just then this thing rang bell that yes, when she says she has been privileged, I would also say I have been privileged coming from largely an academic or rather traditionally bureaucratic family. And but my grandmother, way back in 1920s, told my grandfather that in my family, all girls should be educated very well. And the joke was that in T.N. Srivastava, who was the judicial commissioner in Lucknow, Allahabad, इनकी family में लड़की होना ज़्यादा अच्छा है, लड़का नहीं. तो my father used to say कि हम लोग पता नहीं किस ज़माने से उस तरह से सोचते थे. तो I think I'm definitely privileged because for me, the thoughts came in when I started my journey. I was treated as a person. I was never told that you are a girl or you are a boy, or there was never a distinction. Rather, I faced that when one came to society much more, to the extent that when my daughter was very small, we were in a society and she was calling out somebody. A typical thing, ma'am, some senior lady came and said, थोड़ा धीरे बोलो. तो मुझे भी लगा कि डिस्टर्ब कर रही है ये सबको. मैंने कहा हाँ बेटा थोड़ा धीरे बोलो. नहीं लड़की है, धीरे बोलना चाहिए. And I had so much anger. I said, अगर इसलिए बोल रही है, बेटा जोर से बोलो. See, the point is not that. If it is because I'm entering into somebody else's comfort zone, don't be loud. But it should not be related to gender. So these are 2-3 personal things important in terms of services. I would just try to say had a reasonably good environment because when I joined services in 94, though again I made a choice. I think I'm more academic, and I again thank you to give me the chance to meet all these fresh faces. And I'm always envious of all these professors who can hide their age because every day they meet these fresh fragrance around them. So that you are giving me that chance to refresh myself. I did get lax, and I would have actually continued on academic journey, but then civil services, as they say, once they happen, you don't look back. And me and my husband, both of us were studying together, very insecure about whether we will get the job. Luckily, both of us got through our first chance, so journey started. We have a cross-cultural marriage. More than that, I would just say, when I was during career side, what Madam said about the lady who was more empathetic about her 8-month-old child. Now, that is one challenge I think all of us have. In all our journey, when we are in our, say, late 20s, to early 40s would be the time where family would need you, your seniors would need you, your profession would need you. So as Indra Nui says, body clock actually makes you work 20 hours a day if you want, and which I think most of the women have a typical urge to be the rank holder. हम कम मतलब कोई जना कुछ criticize करे ना, we can't take in this stride. We always feel कैसे कम हो गया. We'll just do it better, and it really tells upon us. But then I had a very lucky thing when I was in a board for coffee. When I was in coffee sector, my kids were very small, didn't have any help at home, and a daughter of a typical 6-7 years. So once after her school about 3 o'clock, the driver would bring her. I had a good antechamber. Child would sit aram se wahan pe, but then I saw all the gents, because I was the only lady in that whole building in the officer cadre. They would go very, very typical thing कि मैडम अगर बच्चे के साथ हैं तो मतलब काम वाम तो नहीं कर रहे होंगे types. तो मतलब एक typical thing उस ज़माने में था. I'm talking of first decade. अगर एक man की table पे family की photo है तो he is a very, what you say, whatever, somebody to look up to. और अगर lady officer ke pe hai to she's just only thinking about her home. She's not committed to her goals. So those were the typical biases. So we always said we have to work twice as hard to tell people that we are better or equal or better than them. So my boss, then I thought I'll just go and tell chairman that my daughter has to come. There is no way she cannot be there. I went and told. So he said, why are you coming and explaining to me? I said, because I don't want anybody to come and bitch about me. He said, I know you're doing your work. Me and my wife, he and his wife both were IAS. We have carried our kids. They were in 2 different districts, and they showed me photographs. We have carried our kids in our arms while we have conducted elections. And after that, he said, even if you are in board meetings, since your kids are in typical age with some frail health issue, you keep your mobile, get out and take it, because nothing is going to collapse. But if they don't get you, because they would reach out only to you, my husband was busier. So these are the few things when I say we need to hold hand of each other, one another, and not try to say, which a lot of people say, maine to kiya. तो तुम भी करो. You know, we have to get out of that mentality everywhere. Personal, professional, be empathetic. Women bring empathy to the table. And that's where I don't look at it as women empowerment. I say it's women-led development, which is here today and is going to take हमारा देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, I think, हमारे सामने ही हैं leaders. So I'm very privileged that I'm part of them, open to whatever we will discuss in the session later.
थैंक यू रूपराशि मैडम. विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट बहुत ही अच्छी बात करी है. और कोमलता कमज़ोरी नहीं. आपने जो आपकी जो कविता थी, मतलब जैसे एक जीवन का सार है, आपने सबके सामने वो प्रस्तुत किया, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. एंड आपने जेंडर न्यूट्रलिटी की बात करी, जेंडर बायस की बात करी. दो बहुत अलग अलग चीज़ें, लेकिन दोनों चीज़ें आपने सबके सामने पेश किया, उसके लिए थैंक यू वेरी मच. Moving on, let's have some very specific questions to our panelists here. And opening to Dr. Sangeeta, you've been in the chemical industry for practically your entire life. I want you to throw light on how this sector has been, or their journey of inclusivity of women, and what is the kind of support that is given to women for kind of work-life balance or in general their professional growth. Thank you.
So to specific question, I must admit to it, in India, the manufacturing sector is definitely lacking behind. The total percentage of women in manufacturing sector is only 7%, and I don't think the chemical industry would be different. I can only say that 7% when I'm talking about is only top 10 chemical companies will have women in their workforce, the technical workforce. I'm not talking about the admin and other stuff. So my specific is only the technical workforce. It's very, very low. The issue is that time is changing, right? So I have few examples which are there, like Tata Chemicals, their Mithapur plant. They have more than 50% women. And now the challenge for them was to even make changes in the environment itself. As Madam also mentioned, because I think we are in a male-dominating society, or things have not changed. We find difficulties in very, very small stuff which we cannot even explain when we go to any kind of factory. Maybe you will not even find a female or ladies' toilet. So these are the kind of things which we face it. But things are changing because we need to create that environment safe for women to work, which is very, very critical for industrial perspective. Then we also need to change certain laws, because today the factory law does not permit that you employ women in shifts. So when you are trying to hire and you say, no, you can put them only in general shift, why industry will come forward? So I think there are a lot of steps which has to be changed and which is kind of changing. So the chemical industry per se, I'm talking because I belong to that industry. You can say IT and all those stuffs have changed a lot. So they have moved ahead, they've moved forward. But manufacturing sector needs more thought and environmental things so that women are comfortable to work. And second part is women also have to think that I cannot restrict myself, that I will do only IT or admin job. We should be able to take challenges. We have in Navy, Army, everywhere, but the manufacturing sector also should be considered that way. So that's what I can add to.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. Moving on to Apte Madam. My question to you is, you've set up Bharatiya Stree Shakti, and it's in the area of women empowerment. So what is the kind of support you get from men to take your NGO forward?
We do get. मैं कहूँगी कि पहले विरोध तो जरूर होता है, मगर फिर भी अपने काम के कारण लोगों से सहयोग भी मिलता रहता है. मैं एक उदाहरण बताना चाहती हूँ. सोमैया कॉलेज होगा या और भी कहीं, पॉश एक्ट है, आप जानती हैं, सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट ऑफ वीमेन एट वर्क प्लेस. तो पहले कमिटी शुरू हो जाती है तो जब इसके बारे में हम अलग अलग जगह पर कंपनीज में या कॉलेजेस में, स्कूल्स में, इंडस्ट्री में अवेयरनेस करने जाते हैं, तो ऐसे लगता है कि दिस इज़ वीमेन अगेंस्ट मैन, मैन अगेंस्ट वीमेन तो पहले से उन्होंने अनुभव किया है, मगर वीमेन अगेंस्ट मैन, वीमेन आर एम्पावर्ड मोर, कानून उनके बारे में ही सोचता है। तो हम कहते हैं कि आप सभी बैठिए हमारे साथ। व्हाट इज़ गिवन इन द एक्ट, एक्ट में ये दिया है कि हाउ टू प्रिवेंट इट, यानी प्रिवेंशन करना है, महिला ने प्रिवेंशन करना है एक बात है, मगर पुरुषों ने सब पहले अपने को भी किस प्रकार से संभालना है, किस प्रकार से प्रिवेंट करना है, ये पहली बात है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। तो ये एक उदाहरण है, मगर एजुकेशन के क्षेत्र में या और अन्य क्षेत्रों में भी अभी ऐसे हो गया है कि इसके बारे में जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन थोड़ा थोड़ा बढ़ने लगा है। जैसे कि पुलिस में है या जुडिशियरी में है, इट हैज़ बिकम कंपलसरी। पुलिस कर्मचारियों का ट्रेनिंग भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति की ओर से काफ़ी बार हो चुका है। तो ये समझ में आता है कि पुलिस की अपनी एक देखने का तरीका होता है। कोई भी गुनाह हो जाता है तो एक तो पहले महिला और पुरुष का कोई है या हस्बैंड और वाइफ का है, तो पहले ये तो घर का मामला है, तो घर का मामला है तो घर में इसको छुड़वाओ। हमें ये कहना पड़ा और कहते आए हैं, और ये इस्टाब्लिश हमारे फैमिली काउंसलिंग सेंटर्स के माध्यम से ये इस्टाब्लिश हम हमेशा करना पड़ा है कि ये आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ये आपकी या पुरुषों की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। फैमिली इज़ द बेसिक यूनिट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, और अगर फैमिली अच्छी चलती है तो सोसाइटी अच्छी चलती है। जो परिवर्तन आना है, यानी जेंडर का भी परिवर्तन आना है, जेंडर की समझदारी का भी परिवर्तन आना है, तो पहले फैमिली में वो करना पड़ता है, बाकी अलग अलग इंस्टीट्यूशंस में करना पड़ता है। तो ये एक बात है कि समझानी पड़ती है, इसका आग्रह भी रखना पड़ता है, और हमारे जो कार्यक्रम जो वॉलंटरी बेसिस पर चलते हैं उसमें पुरुषों को भी सम्मिलित करना है। बहुत कम उसका पैमाना रहता है, मगर ये रहता है। मेरी अपनी बात मैंने इसके पहले नहीं कही, क्योंकि ये दादी माँ की कहानियाँ आपको लगेंगी, इसलिए क्योंकि आई एम वेरी ओल्डर इन एज देन यू। मगर जब मैंने 1961 में हाउ इट आई गॉट ट्रिगर्ड फॉर दिस टाइप ऑफ वर्क, एक ही बात मैं कहना चाहती हूँ, वो ट्रिगर कैसा है। मैं महाड़ में थी, यानी रायगढ़ जिला, जो रायगढ़ किला है, किले के पाँव तले हमारा एक गांव है, वहाँ से एसएससी करके मैं मुंबई में आई, और मेरे भाई एक स्टूडेंट एक्टिव, वो स्टूडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक्टिव थे, घर में बैठिए तो चलो मेरे साथ करके आए। और उसके बाद मेरा यहाँ पर एडमिशन हो गया और फी राइज हो गई, फी स्ट्रक्चर बढ़ गया मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी का। तो इसके बारे में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने कुछ आंदोलन शुरू किया। तो मेरे कॉलेज में भी ये जो लड़के थे मेरे भाई और उनके 10-12 जो फ्रेंड्स थे वो वहाँ पर आए थे। उन्होंने कहा आप क्यों नहीं, आपको नहीं लगता क्या ये फी राइज नहीं होना चाहिए? मैंने कहा हाँ मुझे भी लगता है। तब तक मैंने कभी भी पब्लिक स्पीच नहीं किया था, मगर मेरे कॉलेज के सामने अपने राइट्स के लिए, यानी स्टूडेंट्स के राइट्स के लिए एक टेबल पर चढ़कर गेट के सामने गेट मीटिंग की और कहा कि ये फी राइज नहीं होना चाहिए। दैट वाज द पॉइंट ऑफ ट्रिगर फॉर मी कि मैं कैसे काम कर सकती हूँ, अपने आसपास जो चल रहा है उसके बारे में सतर्क साथ कैसे देखना चाहिए, लड़कों की और लड़कियों की किस प्रकार की दिक्कतें होती है, और हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो लोगों को लगता है हाँ इसमें कुछ है, यानी लड़कों को भी लगता है इसमें कुछ है, और ये समझ जाते हैं धीरे धीरे साथ साथ काम करने से और पीछे न रहने से समझ जाते हैं कि हम सब साथ में काम कर सकते हैं। ये एक ट्रिगरिंग पॉइंट रहता है, और ये करते करते जब छोटे छोटे उदाहरणों में हम समझते हैं कि समाज की समस्याएं क्या हैं। एक स्कूल में मैंने वहाँ पर एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लिए मैं काम कर रही थी। हमारे स्कूल वो मिल वर्कर्स के बच्चों के लिए स्कूल खोला जा चुका था, और उसी की स्थिति भी वैसी थी। ऐसे लगता है ये इतनी संख्या में लड़के क्यों आते हैं, लड़कियां क्यों आती हैं? क्योंकि घर में टॉयलेट नहीं है, बस्ती में टॉयलेट नहीं है, स्कूल में टॉयलेट है, पानी है, इसलिए आते हैं। यानी एजुकेशन के लिए आ रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं थी। यानी कि ये समझना कि समाज की समस्याएं क्या हैं और उस तरीके से सोचना ये मुझे लगता है बहुत आवश्यक रहता है। और वो करते करते भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति का काम जब शुरू हुआ तो ग्रास रूट लेवल पे क्या है, महिलाओं की स्थिति ग्रास रूट लेवल पे क्या है और वो बदलने के लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं, इस प्रकार का हमारा भाव शुरू हो गया है। मुझे लगता है वो कहने के लिए मुझे और एक चांस आप देंगी एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल व्हाट वी कैन डू और व्हाट पीपल आर विल। एक एक व्यक्ति ग्रास रूट लेवल पे किस प्रकार का प्रयास कर रही है ये हमें जरूर समझ में आता है। थैंक यू।
Moving on to Shivani Madam, we've been talking about equal rights and opportunities for both the genders, and today also we have the third gender. To what extent do you think sufficient efforts have been made to support women?
So I think efforts have been made and we are seeing some results, right? But gap बहुत बड़ा है. So have enough efforts been made? That would be kind of debatable. So let me kind of put a bit of a perspective. अगर हम इंडिया को दो पार्ट्स में देखना चाहिए, क्योंकि it's not a homogeneous group, but बहुत ही at a crude level if we see women in the towns and cities and who are working stuff like that, or who are housewives, and women in rural India, उनकी दोनों की जिंदगियां बहुत different हैं. So they're almost like, you know, they're coming from separate universes. So if we look at the employment rates in India in organized sector, which you can say is largely coming from towns and tier 2 towns and tier 3 towns, the employment rates are coming down, right? They were higher 20s, now they are mid to lower 20s on an average. मैं India की बात कर रही हूँ. अगर हम rural sector में देखें, तो because a lot of the economy is unorganized over there, right? A lot of it is कि घर का खेती है, उस पे काम कर रहे हैं, या जंगल में जाके अपना चीज़ें ले रहे हैं, उनको बेच रहे हैं. So nature-based livelihoods जो हैं, be it agriculture, forestry, etc., a lot of the efforts are done by women. So अलग-अलग estimates ये बनाते हैं कि 60 to 80% of the efforts are done by women. पर अगर हम उसको translate करके देखें कि ownership किसके पास है उस asset की, या community asset की, या जैसे forest हो गया या pond हो गया किसी गांव में, वो 8-9% से 11-12% depending on which study you kind of do. So optically ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ काम नहीं हुआ है. पर अगर हम उसको, if we peel the onion, we'll realize that at the law level a lot of good work has been done. It is the implementation which is a problem, right? Or implementation में, of course, we can always blame the government machinery, but in a way I don't think it's really fair. And the reason for that is कि इनको implement करने के लिए जो societal constraints हैं, वो ज़्यादा हैं. अगर किसी भी परिवार से जाके हम बात करें कि आपके पास 10 बीघा ज़मीन है, आप 2 बीघा, 5 बच्चे हैं, सबको 2-2 दे दो, right? अगर 5 लड़के हैं तो they will agree. अगर 3 लड़के 2 लड़कियां हैं तो they will say नहीं, हम तो 3 हिस्से करेंगे. अगर 1 लड़का और 4 लड़कियां हैं तो कहेंगे हम हिस्सा ही नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है? सो इसमें लॉ तो गवर्नमेंट क्या ही करेगी, राइट? So I think we have to understand it from that perspective. Now I don't want to sound too negative because I think even in rural India a lot of work has been done and very positive effects. So अगर आप 20-25 साल पहले की situation देखो तो rural महिलाएं घर से बाहर भी नहीं आती थी. And then we started this instrument called as self-help groups, which is basically collectivizing women in groups of between 10 and 50, and उनको हम गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से क्रेडिट मिल जाता था कि कुछ कर लो, छोटा मोटा पैसा कमा लो, या खेती के लिए यूज़ कर लो, टाइप ऑफ थिंग. नाउ has it yielded all the results which could have been yielded by that collectivization? Absolutely no. But is it better than where we were 20 years? Absolutely. Like today we have 8 million SHGs, roughly, collectives and SHGs. We can reach out to 30 million women or 100 million women if you just know how to reach out to these SHGs. So I think raw material काफ़ी अच्छा तैयार हो गया है. अभी उसको आगे कैसे लेके जाना है और उस पर कैसे काम करना है, एक ये हमें इसके बारे में बात करना पड़ेगा. दूसरा, आई थिंक वन नीड्स टू रियलाइज कि हमने जो काम किया है वो कितना सस्टेनेबल है. जो हमने एक इंटरवेंशन दे दिया, एक ट्रेनिंग कर दी, तो उससे कुछ नहीं होगा, राइट? उसको नौकरी कैसे मिलेगी, पैसे कैसे कमाएंगे? जैसे आपने 5 पिलर्स बताया, राइट? तो उसमें 6 महीने बाद अगर ये लोग वापस जाके उसको देखें, या 6 साल बाद, एंड दे आर बैक टू स्क्वायर वन, देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन डूइंग इट, राइट? वो तो एक्चुअली बैकफायर कर जाएगा, क्योंकि आपने किसी की एस्पिरेशंस बढ़ा दी और फिर 2 साल बाद जब वो एनजीओ ने प्रोजेक्ट खत्म किया तो यू वर्स ऑफ देन यू वर. So I think it's also about sustainability of efforts. I think we have not done a great job on that in general, because a lot of these efforts are driven by NGOs and donor money, जो कि टिक मार्क करते हैं कई बार ये काम, right? So मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ सारे करते हैं, but one needs to kind of understand that piece also. And I think last but not the least is how climate is affecting women, especially in rural context. In India, in a lot of regions like South America, Pacific, because जो ज़्यादा impact होता है जब climate का issue होता है, वो महिलाएं को होता है. कि जैसे अगर जंगल चले गए कल, right? तो लकड़ी नहीं मिलेगी, तो खाना नहीं बनेगा. Therefore, energy transition is becoming quite a topic from a women's perspective. Secondly, whenever there is floods or any natural calamity, women they suffer more, and the violence against women goes up, because आप unorganized तरीके से रह रहे हो, flood हो गया, earthquake हो गया, etc. And one of the biggest issues with women in the third world countries is कि जो पानी लाने का भार है वो महिलाओं का होता है, घर का पानी सारा. तो वो 5, 7, 10 किलोमीटर चल के लाती हैं, और जितना क्लाइमेट का इम्पैक्ट होगा उतने वाटर लेवल्स का इशू होगा, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर लेवल्स का इशू होगा. तो आप उनका लेबर एक्चुअली बढ़ा रहे हो. सो आई थिंक इफ यू लुक एट इट सस्टेनेबली फ्रॉम अ क्लाइमेट perspective, then women are absolutely at a disadvantage, I would say, at this point in time, and a lot of work needs to be done. So some good news, some bad news. We are on our way. We should accelerate it. Thank you.
Very, very thought-provoking points you've raised. I mean, the discussion can go on this. Ruparashi, madam, coming to you, you've been part of the administrative services. So I would want you to share your thoughts in terms of the government support and the government earnestness to help women come up in whichever walks of life they would want to, choose on. So what are your thoughts on that?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. As per my own journey, since I have done central government, I have been part of development administration and commodity sector. So I would just like to share few nuggets and few statistics. Something which is positive, I would like to start with that, because I think if we don't start with that, we will not feel good about what has gone in terms of efforts. We today, I believed, because I've been largely, when I was auditing also, I have been in the finance sector, and finance as in hardcore finance sector auditing. So and when I was in commodity, whether it be coffee, whether it is cotton, or whether it is textiles, anywhere, the interface of women, स्त्रियों की भागीदारी बहुत ज़्यादा रहती है, और उसमें सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट इंटरफेस होता है कि हम फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन में वीमेन को कहाँ तक लेके आ पाए हैं. क्योंकि हम कुछ भी करें, जैसे मैडम ने बोला कि जब तक कंसिस्टेंट फंडिंग, कंसिस्टेंट फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिट अवेलेबिलिटी, कंसिस्टेंट सपोर्ट नहीं रहेगा, तो कोई भी एफर्ट हमेशा कम होता चला जाएगा. एज ऑन डेट आप लोग के साथ शेयर करना चाहूँगी कि हमारी जनधन अकाउंट्स में 240 मिलियन आर वीमेन, 70% ऑफ मुद्रा बेनिफिशियरीज आर वीमेन, एंड 300 मिलियन मुद्रा लोन्स में वीमेन हैं. उसमें एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात जो आप लोग को नोट करनी चाहिए कि वीमेन हैव बीन बेटर फाइनेंस मैनेजर्स, डिस्पाइट the fact that most of us in civil services were initially never given the finance charge. My friends would agree, even in corporates, I think they always feel this is too hard for them kinds, and I think that's why she wanted to become a chartered accountant to prove it wrong. And but it has been a journey, and I am very happy. But then the NPA, the figure speak for it is less than 2%. So women beneficiaries of the financial system are better disciplined, and that is where the whole thinking is, that we need to look at each level, whether it is different levels of governance, or whether it is horizontal spread. It needs to be women's led development, where women are not only they strongly, हम पूरे विश्व का 1/7 part हैं, being 1.4 billion, but हमारे यहाँ जो mid level की companies हैं, उसमें 36% CEOs are women compared to international average of 33%. In case of pilots, we are 15% compared to international average of 5%. We got our franchise, universal adult franchise with the independence, while a lot of Western countries equivalence came much later. तो मेरे हिसाब से कुछ एक स्टडीज़ जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स में आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूँगी. स्टैंड अप इंडिया में जो 40,000 crore डिस्बर्स हुए हैं, 80% बेनिफिशियरीज हैव बीन वीमेन. ऑफ STEM graduates, ma'am, maths. I know the time she must have done the struggle to get into maths, but now, okay, still we are not there, but 43% of STEM graduates are women, which is again higher than the world average. Not to say that we have arrived, but I believe that we are in the right direction. And other thing which I wanted to, why I talk of financial ecosystem and technology. These are the two things which can leverage not only women, anybody from margins, women being the most strongest part of that margin, to come and become part of the main ecosystem. 60% women today are actually participating in the market the way they were not able to do earlier. Interestingly, आपको एक किस्सा बताएं, हम लोगों ने एक इंटरनेशनल सर्टिफिकेशन एजेंसी है गॉट्स करके, मैम आप टेक्सटाइल्स में हैं तो आपको पता होएगा. तो हम लोग काफ़ी व्हाट वी ट्राई टू डू कि ऑर्गेनिक फार्मर्स के साथ जब हम फार्मिंग कम्युनिटी से डिस्कस करते हैं, तो वी डोंट वांट कि केवल CEOs आके बात करें, वी वांट कि फार्म्स से, बिकॉज इट इज़ फार्म टू फाइनल कनेक्ट, फार्म से लोग आके बात करें. तो देयर वाज अ पैनल, इंदौर में पैनल था, तो देयर वर दीज 2 ladies SHGs. तो उनसे पूछा गया, अच्छा फिर वो टिपिकल चक्कर होता है, अगर इफ़ यू हैव, सॉरी इफ़ वी हैव सम इंटरनेशनल पार्टिसिपेंट्स हियर, नथिंग, नो ऑफेंसिव, बट अगर कोई फेयर स्किन को देखता है तो ब्राउन कॉम्प्लेक्स इमीडिएट होता है. तो वो बोले कि हम इंग्लिश में बात नहीं कर सकते, या एक दो उनमें से रीजनल लैंग्वेज वाले थे. आई न्यू दोज लैंग्वेजेस. आई सेड आप बात करो, दो आई वॉज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी, आप जिस भाषा में बात करोगे हम ट्रांसलेट करेंगे. So there were these 2 girls, ladies, means I end up calling all of them girls, that they said कि हम लोग मैम अब using technology, all of them have phones, हम decide करते हैं. Now look at it, whoever is from economics, and ma'am all of you would appreciate, हम decide करते हैं कि कब हम अपने crop बेचेंगे. मैं कहा कैसे करते हो? मैम WhatsApp ग्रुप है, हम लोग decide करते हैं आज नहीं बेचना. And we have an organization which keeps feeding them what is the market trend. तो उनको trend पता रहता है. And it's all because of technology. What I'm trying to say, the qualitative change, what Nandan Nilekani said, कि leapfrog हो सकता है once we have technology. Second, financial ecosystem. How many of you here, and ma'am, all of us, how many of you and us have used cash in last maybe 3 years? How many times? Honestly, I don't carry any cash with me. I think I can do everything with this. And I was surprised. I learned doing Google Pay because I am not so app friendly. मेरे बच्चों ने पिछले साल मुझे कहा कि मैम मम्मा कर लो, कार्ड मत लेके घुमा करो. They said, मैम अब हमारे पास पैसे जो आते हैं हमारे बैंक अकाउंट में आते हैं, husbands हमसे आके मांगते हैं. Now see, when you work in the villages, rural economy, the problem was when I was in Orissa, I had a friend, now she's MP Bhubaneswar. She was in Koraput and she said, Roop, हम कितनी schemes लेके आए, काम ही नहीं होएगा because the men are into country liquor. This is a total thing that men को काम, मतलब women any case ज़्यादा काम करेंगी और जो वो कमाएंगी वो that will go down the drain because there is a mafia in country liquor. So a DM of the district led Mad Mukti Abhiyan. And the then CM, who continues even now as the CM, had been sent a complaint कि आप उन्हें नहीं हटाएंगे तो हम ये कर देंगे वो कर देंगे. He said written में complaint दे दो तब उन्हें हटाऊंगा. So I just feel as women हम लोग कहाँ पे भी हैं, अगर हम assertive रहें तो there is no stopping, because two reasons. One, there is little more discipline, which it's not because I am a woman, I am saying I worked with United Nations, and that time वहाँ पे जो ADG थी, she would tell me कि रूप मेरी team में I can believe anything which a girl is doing, because maybe there is a thing about, you know, not going wrong. There is a thing about somebody making fun, तो वो अच्छे से करके देती हैं, and my guys don't even listen to me. No offense meant, but maybe because men have been in the world more than 2,000, 3,000 years, so they don't take things so much to heart. Women have just come on the board, so they would always be very conscious of what they are doing and how they are performing. So she posed, and this is again 20 years back I was with UN, and she posed so much faith in that. So I believe कि हम लोग जहाँ पे भी हों, I feel very, very proud to see, say, Praveena Rai, who is heading UPI with much, much, much greater innovations, though it started by by another team. But I believe that IT, in general, our connectivity using technology can bring in this whole, you know, infamous concept, inclusive development. Inclusion happens when we can use the resources to what I want to do. So first point which I said, that we should have choices. We should be allowed to make those choices. We should have means to exercise those choices, and all of us should help each other. I mean, even at a village level, when we are trying to do, we should just do that kind of hand-holding. And that's why we try to do a lot of linkages, market linkages, niche developments with ONDC. This is the latest initiative by Government of India, wherein even it is a UPI for retailers. So you can be a small manufacturer, maybe in interiors of Kanchipuram, but you can get yourself on par visibility compared to any other retailer who is, say, on Amazon. So there are initiatives primarily technology backed, which are trying to bring everybody. I don't want to make a distinction. Everybody who is in the margins to the main fold, because everybody understands कि जब तक जिनको हमने margin पे रखा है उनको बीच में नहीं लाएंगे, हम आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे. Fact remains, whoever are in the margins or are vulnerable, larger set is women. So once we target that group, we believe, and results have shown up till now, we feel going forward also, that अगर इस पे focus किया जाए तो अपने आप बहुत सारे changes हो सकते हैं. We don't really have to always think कि कोई और strategy करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. जैसे अब अगर आपने उज्ज्वला के अंदर, one of the things which my friends from Punjab said, कि मैम time अब लोगों के पास बहुत है, क्योंकि cooking का time खत्म हो गया. तो how do we use that time? So the idea is, can we engage them in enterprises? Which is what is happening. The people who are progressive, they are engaging people, because जो आपने बात की कि ईंधन की जो problem है, ईंधन की problem अगर हम solve करें, that is the core problem which I would say governance and all institutions should work on, then they will get time to pursue what they want to. And it's not only the last mile in the village, in urban also. I think, ma'am, all of us also may want to do a lot of things, but there are too many work pressures. So how do we handle that? The empathy that you can do it in a flexi hours. Are we empathetic to each other? You know, we should never say, first thing, सास भी कभी बहुती से बाहर निकलना होगा. I had those seniors telling my friend, तुम क्या अपने बच्चे को लेके हर जगह आ जाती हो? She said, ma'am, I am paying for that. I am not letting my work down. But she would say, हमने तो अपने बच्चे को छोड़ दिया था. Now, this is something wherein I have seen that, you know, women need to be ally of another woman much more in important positions if we really want development. Otherwise, saying कि हम development चाहते हैं is like more of a, you know, word rather than actually doing the work. And I have done that not only for women, for men also, in my own organizations, wherever I have been, thankfully in leadership positions, that whatever empathy I have for maybe a young mother, same is for, you know, a gentleman who has small kids. So I don't really get into that, but then I do see these very typical biases coming up. When a woman asks for leave, people will just love to deny it. How is it in corporate sector? Government, I have seen it, you know. People will just come back and say, ma'am, इनका क्या है? इनको तो child care leave इतनी मिल जाती है. There is a grudge about it.
I mean, इनका क्या? They are part of you. They are part of us. And जिनके लिए child care leave ली जा रही है, that is our future. We need to change that attitudes. I don't know how it is in private sector, ma'am, but this is one thing. I actually become a very bad boss to the middle management gentlemen because I overrule them. I just say if the child needs mother, then he needs it. Others need to, as organization, we have to enable, not disable them. And there is lot of potential. So I just believe that all of us should have this confidence ki karenge. Even if logon ko pasand nahi aayega, karenge, because ultimately results will show. They will speak for themselves. Thank you.
Lot of insightful thoughts Madam has shared. Coming to Roma Madam, currently you are leading the association, Indian Deaf Cricket Association. And so here we come in the space of disability. So my question to you, ma'am, is disability and gender. How do you look at it? Is it that woman and disability, is it double whammy? Or is it that there is empathy for disabled women?
I think this is a very pertinent question, and what I have experienced is that disability is universal. And if you see a man or a woman, they both suffer the same. And they have the same apathy that comes forward as compared to the empathy that we have been all talking about in terms of gender bias. So I don't think there's a gender bias there. The whole problem is, you know, as a child, if I'll take a deaf and dumb example, the child is kept at the back. When there's a gathering, that child is not brought forward. So how does the social skills come, whether it's a boy or a girl? And I am shocked to see this, that parents are ashamed of any disability that they see in their children, and it impacts their social status. And that, I think, is something we all need to overcome and have that, empathy for them, that they need to get all the facilities. If they are not aided, then it's like a small thing. You have a ramp for a wheelchair. Earlier, there was no ramp for a wheelchair. How they would struggle to even come to, let's say, a forum like this. So I think there's no gender bias over there, in that sense that we would look at the disability of a man differently than a woman. But you know what I'm seeing now is disability is something that our Prime Minister has now focused on and told us that please understand, including sign language. He has propagated sign language because that should be a natural second language. But do we teach it in educational institutes? No, we don't. Today, I am part of the advisory board of the Indian School of Hospitality in Gurgaon. They have reached out to me. They want a workshop on sign language because they want to sensitize people that sign language has to be the second language. And how did they know? Because they invited me, they heard my story. And you know, I'm a communicator. The irony is that I struggle to communicate. So I'm now learning the sign language. So I think it's not a gender bias here. It is the apathy. And I think we should sensitize each of us how we should be looking at disability and creating that platforms for them where they can excel. And I think I'm doing that small bit, at least for the deaf and dumb. And we are very glad that we are getting children now to come to the cricket ground, use their sportsmanship. So we're trying sportsmanship with disability in a very innovative way to create that confidence in them that they can overcome any disability. BCCI has a differently abled committee. We are part of it. It covers wheelchair, physically handicapped, blind, and deaf and dumb. So I think these are such initiatives the government is also taking. The Ministry of Disability, both in Maharashtra, I think is taking a lot of effort to help these people and give them a platform of universal, kind of attitudes that we should be changing. No gender bias over there.
Thank you. Now the floor is open for question and answer. So students, if you have any questions you may want to ask the panelist.
Before they ask, can I say just one thing? See, lot of regulations will come. जैसे madam ने बताया कि the rules are actually, and that's the normally grouse maybe men have, that lot of regulations, lot of Supreme Court decisions obviously take care of the fact that women have been on the receiving end. And but my request to everybody here, आप में से किसी ने अगर एक कहानी स्कूल में ज़रूर पढ़ी होगी, हार की जीत, और ये मेरी women से request ज़्यादा है कि we should not allow any black sheep amongst us, even one black sheep, to misuse it. Reason being that one bad case and we lose 10 good cases. And that is where we have to be very, very vigilant amongst ourselves. Law will be there to support you. Second thing, I am very much against dowry. And my sad experience in last, I would say 28 years in services, lot of women take it as of right. And lot of means lot of. Culturally, it is an accepted thing. My request is, till we get out of that morass, we are not going to develop as a country. If you think that this is your right to make your father, your grandparents, or whoever foot the bill for your marriage or give you a property share, let it be property share. That is a different thing. Law is supporting. But having it as dowry is something, if we keep accepting it, then we are not going to be a very developed country. These two things, my young friends here, please keep in your mind.
So my question is to, am I audible? Yeah. My question is open to any one of you. I've seen this trend a lot recently that if anybody talks about women's rights these days, it is related to feminism, pseudo-feminism, and anti-feminism. What is your view upon that? Like, how do you plan on getting, so the thing is that when we talk about women's rights and this feminism ka agenda is brought in, you are not able to, or the general audience is not able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. So how do you plan on, like, can you like shed some light on it? Any one of you?
I have very strong views on this, so I will go first.
Thank you.
So I think there needs to be, so yes, I agree with you, it's happening. So first I want to accept that. I think it's also about what is feminism, right? And the definition of feminism has evolved a lot over time. A lot of people associate feminism with activism, the bra burning, pictures, etc., etc., and therefore they don't want to be associated with it. So just as a context, I work with a Swiss foundation which is set up by a man, a white man, and they are like, in feminism, they are like the evil, right? They are on the other side, that all atrocities are done by this white rich man, basically. So I think it's about, and Jan, his name is Jan, he says I'm not a feminist because he associates feminism with that picture, right? So it's also about us decoding feminism and making more progressive and inclusive, because feminism is not about only women, it is also about men. It's about everybody embracing their side of feminism. So I think it is, whoever is interested to actually understand feminism a little bit more and make it more softer, for lack of a better word.
No, exactly what she said. Sorry, would you like to go ahead? Is the definition of feminism. I think that we have to understand, because unless we see that in the right light, unfortunately the youth, my apologies, tend to have their own definition of feminism. And like she said, bra burning and those kind of people creating, or maybe like Madam said that she did a gate, kind of speech that is called feminism. That's not called feminism. If you're standing for your own right, or you're talking about even for the community, just because you're a woman, you're not a feminist. You're standing for the right of that activity. So please always make a point to your male counterparts that please understand the definition of feminism, and then you can have a proper argument on it. Because otherwise, all of us will be called feminists. Yeah. Sorry.
See, that's where I guess, I see it since I come from services, all of my colleagues here would realize, I think 70s, एक बहुत typical सा चक्कर था. To be good, you had to show you are equal, or you would like to be the man in the seat, the man in the driver. I can also do it. And then when you want to do it, then you want to say, okay, I don't care about my family. I mean, it doesn't matter. This time is for a job, this is not for my family. So, and people believed that you have to be that harsh, strong, boss, aggressive. That was the definition then. And now, I think world has evolved. If we have a Prime Minister of New Zealand or a lot of other, I think the CEO of Google, being very comfortable in the example which ma'am said, is come to the top level that they bring their child because the child needs mother. Simple as that. I have to make my environment, I'm sure, child friendly. In our ESG goals, which all the companies will have to keep on complying over a period, it is that जिस भी sector में, जैसे हमारे sector में at least at the handlooms levels, हर 10 में से 7 साथी women हैं. ऐसे garment में women are more than 60% when garments are done at the highest level. So we have to create spaces for them. And while creating the spaces, as a CEO, whether a lady or a gentleman, should not grudge कि मेरे को अपनी factory में X space छोड़ना पड़ा. Because the workforce come from there. So we need to understand, that's where I again come back to what I say. Choices जो हैं उसको foster करने के लिए आप चाहे decision making position में हो, facilitating position में हो, ideating position में हो, as kids also. आपके घर में आपका बच्चा, in my case I think they have been more assertive about me than I could ever be about myself, because they come from your generation. They just say, mama, chuck it. You don't have to keep on doing everything. You don't have to say, be the nice bahu, be the best bhabhi, be this, be that, and you have burnt yourself out. So this generation, hats off to them, the way they look at our roles. But we belong to the generation where we had a role. उस role से अपने को comply करना है. Get out of that. You can be imperfect and still be good. And that's where feminism is about giving the right environment to be able to exercise the choice you make. I choose not to work. Don't condescendingly look at that person. She makes a choice. She is happy. Finish.
मैं इस बारे में और थोड़ा सा अलग कुछ कहना चाहती हूँ. इज़म जो रहता है, कोई भी इज़म, तो विरोध इस प्रकार का भाव उसमें आता है. फेमिनिज्म का भी जिस प्रकार से जहाँ से वो आया, यूरोपियन कंट्रीज से आया है. फॉर द लास्ट 300 to 400 years उसके ऊपर उनकी चर्चा चल रही थी और इवॉल्व होते गए. एक जगह इवॉल्व हुआ नहीं है, बहुत सारे देशों में अलग अलग लोगों ने किया है. मेन थिंग वाज कि वहाँ पर महिलाओं को किसी भी प्रकार के अधिकार नहीं थे. हाउ अ वुमन इज बॉर्न, इसके बारे में भी उनके जो भाव है, उनके जो समझ है, वो बहुत अलग है. और मैं ये यहाँ पर पॉइंट आउट करना चाहती हूँ, भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति कुछ 15-20 सालों से इस विषय पर काम कर रही है, अध्ययन कर रही है. हमारे यहाँ यानी भारतीय संस्कृति में, कल्चर और सिविलाइजेशन में हजारों साल पूर्व जब हम वेदों की वगैरह बात करते हैं, वेद वगैरह ये केवल संकल्पना या कल्पना नहीं है, इमेजिनेशन है. दैट इज़ अ फैक्ट. और वो जो फैक्ट है उसमें महिला और पुरुषों की स्थिति और उनके अधिकार भी समान थे, हजारों सालों तक थे. उसमें बाद में परिवर्तन आने लगा. धीरे धीरे किसी भी संस्कृति में उच्च स्थान पर, शिखर पर जाते हैं, धीरे धीरे वो कोलैप्स हो जाती है. और उसके ऊपर अगर हमारे यहाँ जैसे कि 2000 सालों से बाहर के आक्रमण हुए, उनका कल्चर हमारे ऊपर हावी हो गया, उसके कारण हमारी स्थिति भी बदल गई, बहुत सारी अंधश्रद्धाएं आई, बहुत सारा कुछ हो गया है, मगर लुकिंग बैक ये बहुत एसेंशियल है ऐसे मुझे लगता है। और केवल भारत में नहीं, बहुत सारे ईस्टर्न कंट्री जो ज़्यादा करके हैं, दे आर लुकिंग बैक कि उनका वहाँ का कल्चर क्या है, वहाँ का मूल विचार क्या है। हमारा भी भारत का जो मूल विचार है, वो मूल विचार को लेकर अगर हम फिर से शुरू करते हैं तो ये डाइकोटोमी नहीं रहेगी, बाइनरीज भी नहीं रहेंगे, और स्त्री और पुरुष एक स्तर पर, और केवल स्त्री और पुरुष नहीं है, जाति की जो व्यवस्था है वो भी अबॉलिश करने के लिए उसका बहुत उपयोग हो सकता है। और केवल इतना ही नहीं, मगर स्टडी करना चाहिए, और केवल स्टडी से नहीं होता, हाँ वो बहुत अच्छा था, व्यवहार में हम कैसे ला सकते हैं, दैट इज द क्रक्स ऑफ द मैटर। और भारतीय स्त्री शक्ति कुछ सालों से इसके ऊपर काम कर रही है, और हमारे यहाँ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में और बहुत आगे चलकर भी ये विचार एस्टैब्लिश करने के लिए हम सब ने प्रयास करने की आवश्यकता है। हर क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले हम सब जब हैं, तो लुकिंग बैक एंड लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड एंड कमिंग टुगेदर फॉर दिस, फॉर द इक्वालिटी, इट इज़ नॉट द इक्वालिटी। मैं और एक को आपको याद दिलाना चाहती हूँ, दो प्रकार के हमारे विचार हमारी संस्कृति में वेद काल से जो चलते हैं, पितृ ऋण है, मातृ ऋण है, गुरु ऋण है, ऐसे ऋण रहते हैं, उसी प्रकार का दायित्व भी रहता है। दायित्व किस प्रकार का है, धर्म नाम का है। धर्म यानी हिंदू या मुस्लिम या क्रिश्चियन, ये धर्म नहीं है, हमारा कर्तव्य कौन सा है। पत्नी की ओर रहने वाला कर्तव्य, पिता की ओर रहने वाला हमारा कर्तव्य, समाज की ओर रहने वाला कर्तव्य, ये यानी कि दायित्व और ऋण, ये जो है यानी यहाँ अधिकार की भाषा कम है, अधिकार दायित्व से अधिकार मिलता है, हमारे कर्तव्य से मैं उनके लिए कुछ करती हूँ, ये मेरा कर्तव्य है इसलिए करती हूँ, तो उनको ये लगता है कि इनकी ओर मेरा भी कुछ दायित्व है। ये जो भाव है, अगर ये हम अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं, समझ लेते हैं, और अपने विचार में, अपने परिवार में, अपने डे टू डे व्यवहार में अगर हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो ये डाइकोटोमी है, एक विरुद्ध दूसरा, इस प्रकार की डाइकोटोमी खत्म होने के लिए ये बहुत उपयोगी रहेगा। और हमारा अपना एक भारतीय जीवन दर्शन, जीवन की तरफ कैसे देखते हैं, और महिलाओं के ऊपर देखने, महिलाओं की तरफ देखने का तरीका कैसा रहता है, वो भारतीय स्त्री दर्शन हमारे लिए, दर्शन यानी फिलॉसफी एंड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द फिलॉसफी, ये हो सकता है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। तो मुझे लगता है अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में काम करने वाले हम लोग हैं, अपने अपने क्षेत्र में इस प्रकार का किस तरह से विचार कर सकते हैं, विचार आता है तो आचार भी आता जाएगा। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much.
Since everybody's explained your point, I just wanted to summarize it one line as be yourself, nothing more.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Due to paucity of time, we can have only one last very quick question if you have. Okay, thank you very much. You could now do the closure.
Respected dignitaries, esteemed panelists, distinguished guests, and our audience, as we come to the close of this enlightening and thought-provoking panel discussion on the role of women in Amritkaal, titled Samarpita, we stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude. First of all, we would like to thank the management for giving us the support in organizing this event. Secondly, we would sincerely thank our esteemed panelists for gracing us with their presence and sharing their valuable insights and experiences. Your perspectives have added immense depth and richness to our discussion and have also given us a new definition of what is the epitome of empowerment. We discussed upon some keywords in the beginning of the session, as Apte ma'am explained, and there were a lot of things discussed. Some key phrases that struck with me was what Dr. Sangeeta said, being a woman is not a disqualification, and what Roma ma'am said, that you just have to keep on learning, unlearning, and relearning. There has been a lot of things discussed, but these are just the key pointers. Handing over to you.
Today's session was really enriching for us. There is a saying in English that when lives give you lemon, make a lemonade. You girls or you ladies have shown us not to just make lemonade, but you guys set up a lemonade stall, sold it, and also earn profit for it. But kudos all of you for that. I'm pretty sure that you have given us many role models and many stories to look forward for your corporate life. I would also like to thank Preeti ma'am for handling the session. A special word of thanks for the organizing committee and even and volunteers who work tirelessly in planning and making this happen. Your hard work and dedication have been instrumental in making this a great success. Thank you.
Last but not the least, we would like to thank the sound system team and the infrastructure for their generous support and the contribution for making this event possible. In closing, as we look ahead to the nation's centenary of independence in 2047, as I mentioned earlier, we must continue to harness the potential of women and creating an enabling environment for their empowerment and advancement. And as our panelists mentioned, women development is not just a woman's problem, it's also a man's problem. So that is a very key takeaway from this session. Thank you once again to everyone who has been a part of this enriching experience. Thank you.